It's this sudden death syndrome with soybeans. What's that about?
Oh, sure. That was on our 1 minute ag focus. And you're right. That is a disease in soybeans. We do hear that when farmers have a kind of an unexplained problem in their field, this is one of the things that it might be attributed to. And with ratings that we are seeing in hybrids and genetics, we can do a much better job of keeping track. What's the reasoning for it? What's the symptomology? How can we work around it? And it's one of those situations where farmers are asking more and more questions as to why could this be happening and what can I do to prevent it? So again, a lot of our genetics and so forth, as we listen to what happens in the seed world, can really help us overcome the problems. And there's a number of diseases that we're seeing on the rise. Tar spot really took a toll in cornfields in a number of areas of Iowa, Indiana, Illinois, and even some parts of Minnesota. That's going to continue to be on the grow as well, and I don't think we're going to see it entering our neighborhood in the next growing season, maybe not even for two. But a lot of times that depends on what happens in our weather patterns. We get some of those situations with southerly winds. We have seen pests that have come up this direction that we didn't have before, and we can also see it with disease spores. So back to your original question about sudden death syndrome in soybeans, we're going to see it in fields where we especially have cool, wet soils for 2 to 4 weeks after planting. That's really conducive to the infection if we don't have the right genetics to reduce that potential problem.
I see. So was last year kind of in a way, almost textbook scenario for the disease because we were so wet and it didn't really let up? We were able to get in the fields and things started to dry out, but it took a little while, and I can't say it was overly warm for the time of the year.
Right. And there's other things that contribute to it as well. And if planting can be delayed until soils are warmer and also avoiding the compaction areas of the field, that helps, and also can be better managed with crop rotation. So fields that are generally a soybean on soybean rotation can also be at risk. So these are all situations that could be a little bit better managed in order to try to avoid it. If you think that you have or have encountered sudden death syndrome in your soybeans, that would be a great conversation for you to have with your extension agent or your folks at NDSU Extension in Fargo or even University of Minnesota, because they do crop surveys and they're always interested to know who's been affected, where those situations are happening so they can watch the spread or can also help to prevent the problem from happening in specific geographies.